Perfectionism has nothing to do with getting it right. It has nothing to do with fixing things. It has nothing to do with standards. Perfectionism is a refusal to let yourself move ahead. It is a loop, an obsessive, debilitating, closed system that causes you to get stuck in the details of what you are writing or painting or making, and to lose sight of the whole. Hey everyone, and as you've guessed, we are talking about perfectionism. Many creatives I know, and probably a lot of creatives you know, or you may be one of them, suffer from perfectionism. It is rampant in the creative world, and it can stop you from taking those next steps forward. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips to help you understand perfectionism and move forward. Number 1, the artist versus the critic. When perfectionism takes over, you are no longer the creative, you have become the critic. And not a healthy critic, but the worst type of critic, your worst enemy. Now, I'm not talking about a creative critiquing the work, asking for feedback, looking to solve problems, changing or adapting what you need to change, especially in light of where you're going with your product or where you're going with your productivity or your process. Perfectionism is something quite different. So at the moment, I'm working on the poetry film like I've been talking about in the last few blogs, and I thought this week I would absolutely have it up, but I've realized watching it, it's not quite right. And it's not to do with perfectionism, it's just to do with I know it's not quite finished. There's some refinement I still need to do on it. I have a clear idea of what is ahead and I want to be happy with it. But I'm not motivated through fear. I'm not motivated in a way that would stop me sharing it, even in this draft form. I don't particularly suffer from perfectionism. I love having things done really well, and I'm quite a detailed person, but I don't suffer from not taking that step forward. You've got to think about perfectionism in a different way. Something being perfect is not really an absolute, it's subjective. What I think might be an amazing piece of artwork, you might not like at all, and what you think is just about perfect, I might really see some faults in it. So it's kind of a way of judging. It doesn't make sense to think that there is a ultimate perfect type of painting, perfect piece of music, perfect film that you can actually create. As creatives, we're always working towards something that's great. We're always wanting our work to get better, to be better, but that's not about being a perfectionist. And that leads me to my second point, insecurity. Perfectionism is a result of insecurity. It's a feeling of inadequacy and a feeling that no matter what you do, your work really isn't good enough. You're not born being a perfectionist. It is developed, and it's developed through your childhood or teenage years when you suffer from low self-esteem. So it's something that we can work towards gaining back and getting some control over. There is a saying that the perfect is the enemy of the good. And with low self-esteem, there is a constant feeling that your work is never going to be good enough, you're never going to be good enough, you can't create to the standard that everyone else seemingly can create to. So it stops you from moving forward, it stops you from making decisions. The drive for perfectionism tends to overcook the work. You've already arrived at something good. You've designed something good, you've made a melody that's really good, you've written a really great poem. But then you start to second guess yourself. Is this perfect? Do I need to recreate this verse? Do I need to change that word? And it's not just the critique, it goes that step further. So you start to unpack the good work that you've done and it becomes something else. And it's a self-sabotage cycle, really. That's what perfectionism is. But there is a way to overcome it. You're not going to like it. Step 3, risk taking. Yep, doing that thing you really don't want to do. I mean, being a perfectionist, risk-taking would be pretty scary. It's pretty scary for me, and I'm not a perfectionist. I mean, risk-taking is scary, full stop. That's why it's called a risk. The thing is really learning how to manage risks, learning how to take the right risks. Think of all the things that you are not doing because your perfectionism is holding you back. What classes are you not taking? What communities are you not getting involved with? What exhibitions are you not applying for, or funding you're not going for? What adverts, say for a guitarist in a band, are you not applying for? Risk-taking is scary and you will fail. God, I've failed so many times I can't count, and I will continue to fail. That's part of the journey. You have to fail. You have to fail to move forward. But it also builds confidence, and that's part of the failing and part of succeeding. You can fail in something and it still builds your confidence because you know that you can get up and do it again. I think it's just starting small. Don't take the biggest risk ever if you're really struggling with the next step. Reflect on what you want to do and what steps you have to take to get there. And take one step at a time. Take one risk at a time. And I guarantee you will build your confidence through that process. You might want to check out last week's video too. It is about your unique creativity, so that will also help you build confidence. I hope you are all well. And I am working on the poetry film. I'm not going to say again that the poetry film is going to be up next week. I think the poetry film is going to be up when it's finished, and I'll let you know. So have a creative week. Stop judging yourself so critically. Take some risks. See you in the next one.